Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving into the psychology of money, and we're going to uncover a truth that honestly surprises a lot of folks. Financial success? It's driven almost entirely by human behavior, not pure math. So if you've ever felt like money is just, this intimidating mountain of spreadsheets and complex formulas, well, you're in the exact right place for a totally new perspective.
But before we really get into the weeds here, I want you to chew on this for a second. Why do really smart people make completely dumb money choices? It's a great question, right? It actively challenges everything we assume about intelligence and wealth. We just naturally assume the smartest person in the room, the one with a high IQ or the fancy degree, is automatically going to make the most logical financial decisions. But, as we're about to see, book smarts and money smarts are two profoundly different beasts. Okay, here's our roadmap for today's explainer. First, the math myth. Second, behavior beats intelligence. Third, luck and risk. Fourth, the wealth paradox. And finally, mastering your money mind. Let's get to it. Section 1. The math myth. Debunking the illusion.
Growing up, we're basically taught to view finance purely as math, right? Perfect precision, massive spreadsheets, hard data. We treat it like physics, where the rules are just absolute. But out there in the real world, finance is pure psychology. Think about it. When the market crashes, nobody calmly consults a spreadsheet algorithm. No, they get sweaty palms and they absolutely panic. Or, on the flip side, they get incredibly greedy when things are booming. Money is governed by fear, by greed, and by ego. At its core, it is profoundly emotional.
Moving on to Section 2. Behavior beats intelligence. The knowing-doing gap. And that brings us to behavioral finance. Basically, it's the reality that our decisions are driven by personal psychology, fear and greed, way more than perfectly rational logic. This concept is a total game changer because it perfectly explains why a completely ordinary person with just a little bit of patience often outperforms a panic genius. Seriously, you could legitimately be a financial wizard, but if you lack emotional discipline, you'll probably sell out of the market at the absolute worst possible time, just out of sheer terror. Meanwhile, someone with literally zero formal financial background who just quietly and consistently saves, they can build incredible wealth. It's really all about how you behave, not just what you know.
So, when we break down the actual drivers of financial success, the results are pretty staggering. Just a tiny 20% slice of the pie is actual skill or financial knowledge. That massive 80% chunk left over, that is your behavior, your emotional control, and, the inevitable reality of luck. Your ability to just keep a cool head when everyone else around you is losing theirs heavily outweighs pure financial skill and spreadsheet intelligence. If you can master that 80%, you are already winning.
Section 3. Luck and risk. Misunderstood forces.
See, our ego is constantly tricking us into thinking we're in complete control of our financial destiny. It's a classic ego trap, and it basically comes in three parts. First up, we chronically overestimate our own control. When things go well with our investments, we pat ourselves on the back, right? We attribute it entirely to our own brilliant decision-making. Second, because we do that, we vastly underestimate the role of luck. We really don't like to admit that sometimes just being in the right place at the right time is a huge factor. And finally, we totally ignore unseen market risks. We plan perfectly for the risks we can see coming, but honestly, it's the sudden, out-of-nowhere risks we can't imagine that actually wipe people out.
Section 4. The wealth paradox. Rich versus wealthy.
A lot of people use these terms interchangeably, but they are fundamentally different concepts. Being rich is highly visible. We're talking high current income, the luxury sports car, the enormous house. It's visible spending, designed specifically to show other people that you have money. But here's the crazy paradox. Spending money to show people how much money you have is literally the fastest way to have less money. Being wealthy, on the other hand, is mostly invisible. It's the hidden assets, the investment accounts you don't talk about, the money you specifically choose not to spend. True wealth is the quiet, hidden nature of long-term security. Basically, it's the options you have, not the shiny things you bought.
So, with that pretty powerful distinction in mind, I want you to ask yourself a very simple question the next time you're checking out online or standing at a cash register. Why did you buy that? Actually, scratch that. It's more like, why are you really buying that? It's a profound little check on your own behavior. Just evaluate honestly if your purchases are driven by a genuine, fundamental need, or if they're actually being driven by your ego's subtle desire to look successful to everybody else.
Which leads us to Section 5. Mastering your money mind. Achieve lasting success.
To achieve true financial mastery, we absolutely have to understand compounding. And listen, compounding isn't just some clever math trick, it is a full-on psychological endurance test. It's the patient, sometimes agonizing process of allowing your money to grow without emotional interruption. That last phrase, that is the secret sauce. The magic of compounding only works if you can literally sit on your hands and do nothing during massive market panics. You just have to get your emotions completely out of the way.
And that brings us to this incredibly simple number 1. This represents the single most important variable in compounding and really in your entire financial arsenal: time. It's not your annual return rate. It's not the specific hot stock you picked on a whim. It is the time you stay quietly invested without panicking. Time is that invisible multiplier that takes small, emotionally stable behaviors and just turns them into massive, life-changing wealth over the decades.
I absolutely love this quote because this core premise just perfectly summarizes everything we've unpacked today. Financial success is primarily driven by human behavior, emotions, and psychology, not mathematical formulas. Doesn't that just instantly take the pressure off? You don't have to be a math whiz. It puts the responsibility squarely on your own self-awareness and emotional regulation. Mastering your mind truly, absolutely is the key to mastering your money.
We're going to wrap up this explainer by leaving you with one final, provocative thought to challenge your own financial journey moving forward. What does wealth actually look like to you? Seriously, is it buying things just to display your success to the world? Or is it buying freedom, time, and total peace of mind? Think deeply about that as you navigate your own financial choices. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep your emotions in check and keep learning.